Hello and welcome to Hayward Road for this, what should prove to be the perfect Sunday lunch crunch. It's Swinton Lions taking on the Featherstone Rovers, and I tell you what, both these sides are in some really good form at this moment in time. Swinton being very credible in defeat last week against Warrington in the Cup, Featherstone doing likewise. My name's Dave Parkinson, delighted to be alongside Damien Ridpath. And Damien, what do you think we can expect from today?
I think today, we're going to have a really open game. I think it's going to be a quite high-scoring encounter. Both sides like to promote the ball well, and I think it'll be an absolute belter today.
Looking at it, both these sides can play, can't they?
Absolutely. Swinton's ethos is to move that ball as much as they can. Featherstone are very similar. I just think it'll be a really open game.
And we were having a conversation before we went on air, weren't we, just regarding the differences, subtle differences between Championship and Super League. Just that you get more rugby in a Championship game, don't you?
Absolutely. I think Super League's got its credit, and it's very much a power-based, grind-based game, which we've seen last week with Warrington playing Swinton. But actually, teams in the Championship do throw the ball about a bit more entertaining. Probably lack a little bit of size compared to Super League players, but make up for it in abundance with just skill.
Swinton haven't actually beaten Featherstone since 2013. Is today the day? We'll be hearing much more from Damien in the next few minutes, but first of all, let's hear from both coaches. Well, Stuart, home comforts once again. Featherstone Rovers on the menu today. What's your thoughts ahead of the game?
Obviously a tough outfit. Featherstone got aspirations to be there or thereabouts when it comes to promotion at the end of the year. Built a competitive squad with everyone in that squad can probably potentially play, and it adds value to the team. So we've obviously practiced all week on the best Featherstone Rovers. Happy with last week's performance in parts. Obviously never happy with a defeat, but I thought we showed potential and showed what we're about, especially in the first half there against Warrington. And obviously our battle is now getting that consistency levels. We're at that 8 or 9 out of 10 every week.
I mean, that was a heck of a performance last week in defeat, wasn't it, against Warrington?
Yeah, like I said to the boys, we're proud of every one of them. Warrington are a world-class outfit, but obviously our bread and butter is the Championship, and we need to get on the board as soon as possible. Ideally today, obviously we're trying our best to get them 2 points today. Worked hard all week, doing it a little bit tougher currently with injuries, but I think every squad is as well in that place. And like I said before to you, is someone's injury, someone else has opportunity, so there's chances there for people to step up and cement their place within our team.
As you said, missing a couple of big men, but you've got a debutant today, haven't you, in Kobe Green?
Yeah, well, Kobe played last week off the bench. Obviously it's his Championship debut with us today. Again, exciting player, played in the World Nines for Wales over in Australia. Come to us from Bradford. Obviously probably had a few players in front of him at Bradford in the halves there. Competent playing half hooker. Well, Kobe will, as openly said to us, he'll play anywhere, so that's the kind of attitude we want from our players, and you've got to try and get into the team somewhere and obviously cement your place within that team.
Anyone else we should be looking out for today from your guys, Stu?
I've got a young, exciting team, and obviously we're proud of every one of them. We've planted a few seeds a few years ago, and seeds now blossoming. And when we're on, we're an exciting team to watch. Got Geronimo coming back in today, so we're excited about him and the options what he throws coming out back. So yeah, he adds excitement to our team, and then we've just got obviously the people who are consistent every week: your Will Opes, your Rodri Lloyds, and your Mike Butts and your Jack Hansons. So hopefully we've got threat all over the field, and we intend to put our best foot forward.
Best of luck today, Stuart.
Thank you.
Well, James, Swinton on the horizon for Featherstone Rovers today. What are your thoughts ahead of the game?
Yeah, tough game. I thought Swinton were outstanding last week against Warrington. They're a side that's willing to experiment and move the ball, and what is a very open and expansive pitch, you have a chance to do that. So today's going to be a really good test for us.
Would you describe them as a similar sort of style to yourselves?
A little bit. I think Stu's done a really good job with Swinton. I think they've produced. I might be wrong, but Swinton have probably produced more Super League players in the Championship than anyone in the last 5 or 6 years. And I think what they've got going on at the moment here is really good. They move the ball well. Said they brought Ridyard in as a half to help Hansen out, and it seems to be working well for him so far.
Let's concentrate on your own side, because you had that really positive start to the Championship against Batley. In fact, you've virtually played no one else but Batley, have you, this year? What's that been like?
Yeah, it was. If we played Batley in the friendly, then we backed up in the cup in the league. So Batley's form's been vindicated. I think they've done really well yesterday with a really big win. So yeah, Batley has been a team that improved, and it's been a good hit out for us. Last week, we probably let ourselves down in the first half against Hull FC, and we improved a bit in the second half. But we're still finding our feet as a team, and we've got some areas we need to improve on. But I think we've got a talented squad, and I think if we can improve week on week, we're going to be okay.
And what's your team looking like today? Any big changes from last week at all?
We made some changes from the cup for sure. We lost James Harrison though from that with a foot injury. We welcome back 4 or 5 more. John Davis makes his first appearance of the season for us, and John Davis comes in as well, which is great. So we've got a new middle this week, but all of them are played so far this year.
Best of luck ahead of the game.
No problems. Thanks, guys.
So those are the thoughts of both of our coaches ahead of the game, and I've got to say as well, thanks to James Webster for rescuing that microphone which was dipping just at the end of his interview there. My name's Dave Parkinson, delighted to be alongside Damien Ridpath as we were speaking prior to that, and I mean, it's a lovely day here, isn't it? What's your thoughts running through this before kick-off?
Going to have an absolutely fantastic match. I think the conditions are absolutely perfect for an open game of rugby league today. Two sides who like to play expansive styles. I think we might be on for a tri-fest.
Well, I certainly hope so. I mean, that'd be fantastic for us and for everybody at home watching it. Both sides, like I put to James Webster, have a similar sort of style for promoting the ball, don't they?
They certainly do. And Featherstone are full of experienced players. Swinton not so much experience, but full of enthusiasm and young lads making the way in the game. It's two contrasting teams, backroom staffs, everything. I think it's going to be a compelling watch this, because it's what you think about the sport, and watching a club like Swinton who are developing rapidly to against a championship old stager like Featherstone who have got aspirations for the Super League. I think it's going to be an absolutely fantastic watch. Let's have a look at the two sides that are going to be starting this game. Starting with the home side, Swinton Lions. They start with the exciting Geronimo Doyle at fullback. It's a backline of Richard Lapori, Lewis Roberts, Mitch Cox and Mike Butt. I think he's looking forward to my commentary, by the way, Mike, because he scored 3 tries this season, both in the previous 2 games that I've covered, so I'm really looking forward to seeing whether he can carry on that record. I think Mike's started the season in absolutely excellent form. He's obviously put his hand up to play for Wales in the World Cup at the end of the year. He's doing himself a lot of credit at the moment. He's playing very well, whether it's on the wing or at full-back.
Lions halfbacks Martin Ridyard, once upon a time with Featherstone Rovers, had 1 season over there in Yorkshire alongside the exciting Jack Hansen, and then it's a front row of Sam Brooks, Luke Waterworth celebrating his 100th career appearance today. Louis Brogan completes the front row. Rodri Lloyd skippers the side from the back row alongside Will Hope, and Tom Spencer is also in there. Interchanges Sam Grant, Kobe Green, Paddy Jones and Jordan Brown. 2 big guys there, but perhaps overall lacking a little bit of size on the bench. What would you say to that, Damien?
I would have to agree a little bit. We have got a number of injuries at Swinton at the moment, and we're picking what is available and the guys that are fit, but all them boys on that bench will give absolutely everything, and we'll add credit to this team today.
Let's move over to the Featherstone Rovers side. This is how they line up. So it is Craig Hall at fullback, Ben Blackmore, Thomas Minns, Chris Wellham and Gareth Gale make up a back line, which for me is an exciting prospect when you look at that. The experience of Chris Wellham, the strike that Minns has. Obviously he's just making his way back into rugby league, but certainly before his issues he was pushing well, wasn't he, with both Leeds and Hull Kingston Rovers.
Yeah, certainly an exciting back line for Featherstone, very experienced, and I think this is where the game will be won and lost today. I think both back lines are exceptional, to be honest, in this division, and I think this is where we'll see all the points coming from. I think it's got a great battle is going to be had between the centres and the wingers.
Pair of exciting halfbacks here for Rovers, by the way. The very versatile Famuno Brown lines up alongside Tom Holmes, who played 13 games for Huddersfield Giants last season. In the front row, it's Craig Kopjak, vastly experienced, Connor Jones, who's returned to the club from Salford, and James Lockwood, who just keeps going and going and going for Rovers. The back row is Brett Ferris, Brad Day and Jack Bussey. The interchange bench, John Davis coming in for his first appearance of the season. Frankie Holton, once upon a time a favourite here at Swinton. Dean Parata, who's been very, very dynamic and direct when coming on to play dummy half. And Junior Moores, of course, who needs very little introduction after over 100 Super League appearances with Castleford. So I think that's going to be a really good bench, that.
Yes, certainly. They've got Featherstone got a very strong squad this season. And they've got some cracking replacements there for when needed.
So we're just waiting for the arrival of the two teams. We will be pausing for a minute's silence before the game, like with all other sporting events over the weekend, observing a minute's silence for Prince Philip, who passed away just the other week, and we saw his funeral yesterday. But yeah, we're really looking forward to this game, and we'll also be having the 13 seconds as well. So this is part of the Tackle It campaign that the Rugby League has for players to show their own stamps against discrimination of any type. You can find out more about it by going to https www.rugby-league.com/tackle_it, or simply you could go on Google like with I did, and just go Tackle It campaign, and you'll get all the information that you need. So Stuart Littler making his way across the field. His final words to his troops are done. What do you think he would have said?
Continue how you played last week against Warrington. You showed skill, commitment, resilience, grit, and just keep that form on.
By the same token, what do you think James Webster will have been saying? Because in a way, they've come off a very similar sort of game, haven't they? Where they pushed Hull for large periods, certainly in the second half. I won't mention the first half because there was quite a lot of points scored in it, but certainly second half they really got dug in, didn't they?
They certainly did, and I think the first half, obviously the game was pretty much lost for Featherstone, but they gave themselves credibility with coming out in the second half and giving absolutely everything, and I think they won the second half 10 points to 0.
Got to say as well, from a Featherstone Rovers point of view, being a guy that watches a lot of NRL rugby, look out for these away jumpers of Featherstone. They look very much, we already said, didn't we? Is it Featherstone Rovers or Cronulla Sharks that have turned up?
Yeah, very much. It's a very, very, very smart kits on show today. The Swinton kit, we're very proud of it. It's the club won a competition last year through the Rugby League World Cup. It's anniversary of kits, and we actually won that little competition, so we modelled this season's kit on it, and it's from originally from the 1960, I think it's Lancashire Cup winning team or something like that, but yeah, it's two very smart strike kits on show today.
Also a striking kit as well from our match officials, as so the match officials just over off to our left hand side, just by the clubhouse, just coming out. And here comes Swinton Lions. Tell you what, I'm nervous. I don't know about those boys on the field.
Yeah, seeing them warming up before, actually looking very, very focused, both sides. During the warm-up, very focused. You can sometimes tell with the team how they're going to perform on a day, the way the warm-up goes and how they approached it, and both teams look very, very focused today.
Both of them coming out side by side but distanced, it would be fair to say.
Indeed.
In these modern times, so they're going to line up and face our cameras. Got to say, it's a glorious day here at Haywood Road.
Certainly is. Certainly is a lovely day. No excuses for drop ball today, Dave.
Definitely not, no. Unless it's sweaty hands. Yeah. So our match officials for today: Aaron Moore is our match referee. Touch judges Gary Jones and Paul Marklove. And in just a few seconds, we'll be pausing for a minute's silence in remembrance of His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, who passed away last week and whose funeral was yesterday, in mark of respect, like all other sporting events over the course of this weekend. And now the 13 seconds of solidarity. So as I say, the Tackle It campaign is something that the RFL is really behind this year, and you can find out more by Googling Tackle It campaign. That's the pre-match stuff done. We're ready for action, Damien.
Certainly are, and there goes Hooter. We're ready to kick off. Personally, I'm number 25 for Swinton, Lewis Roberts. He's just made his way into the first team. He's only 19. He's one to watch. You watch him throughout this game, he will make yards every time after impact. He's playing centre today, and he's certainly one to watch for the future. I think this is his third or fourth fully fledged professional game today, and he's entered it like a duck into water.
So it's going to be Martin Ridyard to kick us off. He sends this long and high, fielded by Featherstone Rovers, who'll make first use of possession. Driven in and 12 metres away from their own line right at the start here, Featherstone. In at dummy half is Connor Jones. He'll pick up, scoot it to the left-hand side. There was a big hit in early. The old man Lewis Roberts coming in from his centre position to make that tackle now, being moved quickly down this left-hand side already, but it seems to have gone out of play.
Yeah, just good line speed there has forced an error from Featherstone, which is good to see from the guys. They were up fast, as you'd expect in the first minute of a game.
I think it was Brett Ferris as well who flicked the ball out, and it just seemed to bypass everybody. But I think you can have that as a defensive win, can't you? Really, from
very much so. The line speed was excellent.
So Waterworth sends it left through Ridyard. Moving up there is Will Hope. Hope crosses that 30-metre line over on the left-hand side. Swinton looking to build into this first set as Ridyard drops it back over his shoulder for Louis Brogan. Brogan well held. He's been in good form recently, Louis Brogan. Waterworth again, dominating play, sending it down the left-hand side. Oh, it's just juggled though by Hansen, and he can't keep hold of it, and as a result it's been coughed up and it's going to be Featherstone ball. They had a good chance there to look at that Featherstone line though, didn't they? And you could see kind of where they were thinking. They wanted to take it down the left.
Absolutely, you know, Swinton will always push the ball to the fringes of the pitch all the time. We will move it for what the team lacks in size. It makes up for in speed.
So Rovers in possession, 20 metres away from their own line. Jones drops it over his shoulder. Kopchak then carried the ball, but moved it back for Lockwood, who plays it. Jones down the ground, takes on Waterworth. Wrestled to the floor. I think he's won that one because he's found his feet quickly. Now it's sent down that right-hand side through Kopchak again. Famunu Brown, first touch. They'll have to put numbers on him, and that's certainly what Swinton did on this occasion. I've seen some video footage of Brown. He looks really dynamic on his feet.
Certainly at this level, with his NRL experience, he's a very talented player for this
Here's Jack
competition.
Bussey, just breaking through a couple of challenges there. The ball's ripped out, according to our match official Aaron Moore, who's got an interesting story to tell himself. He was previously a semi-professional player with North Wales Crusaders. We were saying that before, weren't we? So he'll be able to look exactly and see what is going on. But yeah, that's a basic strip, that, isn't it?
Yeah. No excuses really. Put us under a little bit of pressure under our posts.
So Jones taps it. Forward comes Lockwood. Turns on his axis. Finds his front as well in that tackle. So 12 metres away from the line, right in the middle of the field, Featherstone Rovers. It's sent down this left-hand side. Bussey keeps it moving. It's reached forward, then sent out wide. Here's Minns. Wrestled to the floor. Lepori had to dive in. Certainly brought that move to a temporary stop. Infield it's moved again. Holmes drops it back over his shoulder for Bussey. He's been busy so far.
Yeah, he's been
Bustling, 12 metres out from the line. Jones picks up, goes alone.
Good tackle.
That's a super tackle from Spencer, almost cutting him in two. Just on the edge of the try line. Now it's back with Brown. He keeps it moving out to Hall. Hall, short pass to Wellham. A lot of experience there in those two players. Wellham plays it. Hall sends it into the middle. Now Brown sends it wide to Holmes. Holmes looks up, dabs it forward. Blackmore went for it. Seems to come off Lepori, that one though. And as a result, it's going to be more ball this for Featherstone Rovers. So Swinton under a little bit of pressure during these early stages. We're just less than 4 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I mean, one thing of Swinton's play this year is our line defence has been particularly good, and it showed it again there. We asking questions of the attack. A little bit unfortunate there with Lapori, just got his hand to it, forcing for the knock on.
Lockwood with the first carry of this set. Inside the 10-metre mark he goes. He's just to the right-hand side of the posts. Jones brings it back left. Here it comes to Mins. Step in. Tries to duck beneath Hanson. Lewis Roberts is there just to roll him on his back. He's wrestling to his front though and finds it. And Hall fires it infield to Holmes, who drops it back for Bussey again. Another early carry for Bussey. Inside that 10-metre line he goes. 3 Swinton players around him. Rodri Lloyd, last one to let him go. He's tucked down this left-hand side again. Step-in run coming in from Holmes. He's gone right back against the grain. He's looking for someone to pass to. Sends it out to Brown. The defence is committed, but they're carrying on moving this ball. And this is going to be a try in the corner. Great movement out down that right-hand side. And that's Gareth Gale crossing in that right-hand side. Good movement from Featherstone. And it just came from a couple of flick passes, didn't it, out of challenges?
Yeah, certainly an excellent try to be scored. As we predicted pre-game, that the ball would move and there'd be plenty of good passing. I think, again, put under the pressure, Swinton put themselves under pressure with a penalty and then an error. Keeping a team out for Featherstone for 2 or 3 sets is going to be difficult.
So Gale touching down at that right-hand corner. Lovely ball. Easy as you like, to be honest, from Chris Wellham. Really did give him plenty of time. And that is his second try of the season for Gareth Gale. Scored 3 tries in all competitions last year during the abridged campaign. And Featherstone Rovers have the first impetus in this game. They've got the first points. They lead by 4 points to 0. And we're almost 6 minutes in. I'm interested to see how they go with goal kicking, because Craig Hall started with the kicking duties at the start of the season, and then over recent weeks his form seems to have deserted him a little bit over that mark. So he's given that chances from out wide. It's just across the front of the post though. And that's the first miss of the game. So it's 4 points to 0 in favour of the Featherstone Rovers side, and it's Brown who looks like he's going to be kicking or attempting to kick the goals.
Yeah, it wasn't far away. As I say, every point's important in this competition. So I think Featherstone obviously be in the training ground. Will start working on that if they've had struggles for kicks over the last few weeks.
So Ridyard gets us back underway. It's almost like a repeat of the start of the game, and he's found the same guy. And it's fired into Kopjak, who's wrapped up by 4. Crucially, line speed is going to be the key in this particular battle. Picked up out of dummy half and battled forward from Rovers. Now 30 metres away from their own line. Jones fires it to his right-hand side. They continue to come forward. They're making some good yards in this set. Rovers, very direct stuff through the middle. Now it's taken wide through Bussey and Holmes. And he dropped it back looking for Ferris. Ferris all controlled in that particular stop. And they've reached the halfway line here of Featherstone Rovers. It's going to be a slow play of the ball. Roberts has found himself caught up in the action. Bussey, though, drops it back to Kopjak. Kopjak takes on Roberts again. They're certainly targeting young Roberts in defence, aren't they?
They certainly are.
Kick comes in from Holmes. Roberts put some late challenge in. Nothing in it, though, and Geronimo Doyle did well to take that ball and starts this attack just outside the 20-metre line. Lapori rolls up for the challenge, runs into Lockwood. The tackle was high, so Swinton have a first penalty in this game. This will certainly help them get further downfield.
Yeah, I mean, the first 5 minutes I'm really impressed with the referee, because with Lewis, for example, getting his arm caught up there, he didn't react. He could see he was trapped. He let the play continue. And
it's a good touch found. Roberts to tap it, 10 metres in from touch, finds Hanson. Hanson runs across field, links it back with Brogan. Salford born. Came through the Lee Miners Rangers club as Spencer plays it off to Brooks. Those two are going to be key as far as Swinton Lions are concerned. The big metres that they'll be hoping to make. That was a good attempt there. Now Ridyard buzzes across to this right-hand side, links with Hanson. Short ball there for Rodri Lloyd. 2 players move up into the challenge. Brett Ferris was low down. And up top was Kopjak. Now Brogan moves it to Spencer. Spencer finds Ridyard. Ridyard drops it back over his shoulder for Hope. Will Hope wrapped up though by 2. Some good position this for Swinton. Inside the 20-metre line. It's brought right again. Through hands it goes to Spencer. He sets himself for the big drive. He's virtually in line with that upright. 9 and a bit minutes gone. On the right-hand side is Hanson. Punts this ball high. It's a real battler of a kick, but it just seems to have been knocked on by Swinton. And it means that we've got a turnover. But not a bad option.
Not bad at all. I mean, we're ending the set on their 10-metre line. So Featherstone got to work hard now to come out from there. And so if our line speed is good, should be able to keep them down.
It's a long way as well when you look up from that corner. And Rovers trying to get downfield, brushing away from 1 or 2 challenges. Tell you what, I thought Rodri Lloyd was going to pinch that ball one-on-one then. I've seen quite a few of those one-on-one ball steals this season. Here's Bussey, plays it off for Brown. He keeps it moving down that right side. Tell you what, they're looking strong, and Welland brushes away from a couple of tacklers before taking that challenge. Now they're approaching that halfway line out on the right-hand side with the try-scorer. Gale tries to get over the top of his man. Quick play the ball though, and at the moment these quick play the balls are really troubling Swinton as it comes back to the middle. You can't take your eyes off Featherstone Rovers because they move the ball so quickly, and already they're up to that 40-metre line inside the Swinton half of the field. So it's back with Brown on this right-hand side. He punts the ball high. That's coming down with snow on it, that is. Geronimo Doyle takes it on the full. He'll skip, but straight into the chest there of Jones, who wrestles him backwards with the help of 2 other players. Brown was one of them. Now it comes down this right-hand side. Hanson gets rid of it quickly to Mike Butt. Butt all wrapped up though on the edge of the 20-metre line. That's where he'll play to Hanson. Now Lapore sets himself for the drive, but Connor Jones comes up with a big challenge there. 1-on-1, and Waterworth forced to pass left. Here's Ridyard trying to skip his way forward. He'll know some of these Featherstone Rovers players particularly well from his 1-season stint that he did there as Brogan released it to Spencer. It comes down this right-hand side with Hanson. Good play. Here's Geronimo Doyle into the backfield. Now passes to Roberts. Roberts brushes through one. He carries on going as well. They're trying to level best to wrestle with him. He's virtually swung Mins round like a rag doll there. Now he'll play that ball. And that's a long ball back to Ridyard. Ridyard will punt this ball high. He's another one that's coming down with snow on it. Oh, there seemed to be a whole collision there between both Gale and Hall. I'm not quite sure whether there was any communication there at the back for Featherstone.
Like it looks, it seems okay. He's getting up in back play.
I think they called that friendly fire, wouldn't they?
Yeah, very much so.
Here come Rovers, pushing their way to that 40-metre line again, wrestling for the front and finding it. Yes. Wellham, big challenge, big run forward. Quick play the ball as well.
Certainly winning the floor Featherstone at the moment. The play the ball speeds exceptional.
Connor Jones plays it quickly. Bussey gets it down this left-hand side to Holmes. He moved it out to Ferris, who appeals for a penalty, but there's none forthcoming from the referee. Inside the 30-metre line, Featherstone Rovers. They've got to the end of this set. Kick comes in from Holmes. Drilled it along the floor. It was an awkward bounce for Doyle to deal with, and he did pretty well in the end. He's 5 metres out from his own line. But like I said before, Swinton will look up this field, and it's an awful long way up the field.
Yeah, I mean, this is where Richard will make yards every week. Brings it into the centre.
He's my sort of winger, Richard Lapore, because he'll just get stuck in, as will this fella, Mike Butt.
Our backs will come off this line now, and they've made 20 there in for 2 drives, so they're doing well. Mitch Cox takes the 3rd one up.
13 minutes of this game gone, 4-0 in favour of Featherstone Rovers. Hope you're enjoying this coverage via our league as Ridyard feeds it out to Hanson, who finds some support from Rodri Lloyd. Good defence from Featherstone Rovers, though initially they didn't get good contact, but they soon made up for it. 35 metres from their own line here, Swinton looking to create a bit of space for the kick, and Ridyard just says we're getting out of here and launches that over the head of Gale, who has to force his way back to collect. Now he'll pick his spot with where he'll run to, and he challenges Will Hope to come up with the stop. So too Spencer. They clear the ruck area to Swinton, and forward come Rovers once again, fighting their way into the Swinton half of the field. Jones is checking left and right from dummy half, puts it on his left hand side to Lockwood, who plays it off to Holmes. Quick ball movement for Mins, good tackle from Lapori. He'll play this ball quickly to Ferris, and Holmes releases it into the middle with Lockwood. Lockwood with good leg speed, good leg drive, 35 years of age like we mentioned in pre-match, and he's been quality. Now Holmes on this left-hand side, kicking over the top to test out Lapori. The bounce has defeated everybody. It's going to be a second try for Featherstone Rovers, and following up his own kick was Tom Holmes. Little bit of ingenuity there by Holmes, but what's that old saying? Never let a ball bounce, and unfortunately, Swinton have been undone.
Yeah, unfortunately, we defended well. We've defended the whole set well, and it was a great kick, to be fair. It was good rugby.
That was just Holmes following up his own kick, and that bounce was wicked, absolutely wicked. 14 minutes gone.
The kick was placed in the correct position. It was beyond the wingers, and once it bounces, it's where it goes, and it bounced lucky for Featherstone on that occasion.
So we get a bird's eye view of Brown on this occasion, looking to convert. Missed with his first attempt. No Dane Chisholm in the Rovers ranks today. He's the other main go-to goal kicker as far as Rovers are concerned, but let's see if this lad can certainly step up to the mark. He's 10 metres in from touch. Sets himself. One last bit of concentration. Steals himself. Comes in. Left-footed kicker. Oh, he's hit that post and it's gone in. So 10 points to 0 in favour of Featherstone Rovers. 2 early scores for them, and they'll be pretty happy with the work that they've been able to do in this first 15 minutes, won't they?
Oh, absolutely. They're coming down the middle, they're working hard, making good yards, winning the floor. It's giving them the platform then to attack.
So 16 minutes gone. Those are the thoughts of Damien Ridpath, who's alongside me today here at Haywood Road, a sunny Haywood Road. I've actually got ready for winter rugby again today, and I'm peeling off layers as we go on. As Ridyard fires that ball long, it's taken by Brown. He gets it back into the middle with Kopjak, who plays it out wide, and this is a adventurous play from Featherstone, running for spaces, not faces, and it's down this wing with Blackmore. Blackmore turns it back on the inside. This is fantastic from Featherstone Rovers. They go the full length of the field, and Mins just about makes it in the end, despite a valiant attempt from Mike Butt. But that is great from Featherstone Rovers, straight from the kickoff, adventurous play, and it was good night Vienna.
Fantastic try, two wide passes, fantastic, excellent try.
So Thomas Mins it was scoring that one, and he was just the guy on the end of it really. I mean, all that work had been done in the middle. They took that ball from the kick restart, just fired it out to this left hand side. I always remember a few years ago at Lee, the Centurions scoring a similar type of play, and they called it a shotgun move. That I don't know what Featherstone would have called it, but it was like they were firing out from a shotgun. They were moving that quick, wasn't it?
Excellent movement. I think Stu will be a little bit disappointed with the line speed from the kick-off, because it gave Featherstone opportunity to make the moves.
2 tries in 3 minutes for Featherstone. Have advanced their scoreline on to 14 points to 0. So Brown steals himself again, sends it goalward. That one's waved away though. I was fearing for those panes of glass though behind. It's like he was aiming for it.
No, they're very tough.
So 14 points to 0. It's a perfect start this for Featherstone Rovers.
It has been. I think Swinton now needs to get some pressure on and try and win the ball. And do you think it's all come from the penalty earlier on? And in the modern game, momentum carries a lot.
It's amazing just those little momentum swings, isn't it, that can occur as Featherstone bring it out from their own end. As Ferris again, once upon a time an England international, has had a stellar career really. And now it's down the middle from Rovers. Bussey all wrapped up. He'll play this ball just inside the half of the field for Featherstone Rovers as Brown uses a bit of footwork to try and skip away. Couldn't quite get away though. Rovers still continue to come forward. They seem to have loads of men down that right-hand side as Gale steps back on the inside there to eventually take that hit from Mitch Cox. Last tackle signalled, fired into the middle. Brown gets his kick away. This is a tester, a real tester for Doyle, who backs out of it. Lapori retreats to his own line. He's got work to do. There's a real good line of defenders there as far as Rovers are concerned. And Swinton just 2 metres away from their own line. They let the ball bounce again. What's going on?
Yeah, I think he thought he could get it. I heard him call it, and then just at the last minute he's realised he can't reach it. So rather than do a knock on, he's left it.
Swinton looking to build from the back here. Under pressure right at the start of this set as Waterworth picks up out of dummy half, the former winger man. Feeds it to his left-hand side. Hands and feet forward from Hope. Into the middle with Ridyard. He'll kick this long. Wants to try and test out Blackmore. Didn't really get as much on it as what he wanted, I don't think. And Blackmore will return it with a bit of interest. And come back to the halfway line. Drags 3 defenders in. Craig Hall is already scanning where this ball's going to go. Sorry, Damien.
Yeah, I think Swinton we're looking a little bit shell shocked at the moment. I think they just need a bit of composure to get ourselves back into this match.
Gale plays it. Here comes Kopjak. Thinks he's spotted something down this left-hand side. Turned and made the ball available for a second, but I think was just told just take the tackle. We'll build it from here. And that's Lockwood playing it into the middle. And there's a mistake there from Brown. They are human after all.
Thank you.
They went through a period of play there in this last sort of 5 or 6 minutes where they've looked really, really good there, Featherstone, haven't they? Everything's stuck.
Outstanding, and very much like the top of the table team that they wish to be. Some real quality running and movement.
So chance for Swinton, but they're in the wrong end of the field, the wrong area, as Rodri Lloyd is rushed basically. The Welsh international though, he'll play this to Waterworth, who finds another Welsh international, or certainly he'll be hoping to be a Welsh international come the end of the year. Lewis Roberts, 2 games in Super League last year for Salford. It comes to the middle with Hanson. He releases it to Brogan, who plays it off to Ridyard. This is looking better for Swinton. They've made some good yards in the last couple of plays there, and they're up around the 40-metre mark. Now Brooks onto Brogan. Brogan was looking to promote the ball, then tucks it under his wing, gains 10 or 12 metres. He'll play it to Waterworth, who sends it left to Brooks. Brooks plays it off onto Ridyard. I don't think he'll thank you for that pass. Ridyard has slipped it out, but he's lost it. And as a result, it's been picked up here by Wellham, who'll play that ball quickly. Jones gets it back over his shoulder, back to Wellham. Wellham seems to be playing with them at the moment. He's swatting Lions aside. Dangerous signs these for the Swinton Lions side. Picked up out a dummy half by Jones again, who sends it down that right-hand side. Good reading defence, though, by Cox. Brown onto Bussey. Does that famous step and shuffle back into the middle. He'll play it 25 metres away from the try line. Moves left with Brown onto Holmes. That pass looked a little suspect. In fact, it's more than suspect, it's forward.
Yes, it certainly was. But again, ominous signs. Featherstone are building really well. I think all Swinton needs to do is get the composure, get through a couple of sets and start building again. But at the moment, we panicked a little bit. We've panicked a little bit on a couple of plays.
It's easy for us to say, isn't it? You know, and there you could see Ferris being put under a little bit of pressure and just getting his angles wrong. But here come Swinton Lions, 25 metres away from their own line. Waterworth darts into dummy half. He's on appearance number 99 for Swinton. Ridyard back over his shoulder for Brooks. That's better from Brooks. I think he's been trying to play as an extra half-back for the first 15 minutes, and that's what his job should be, providing the quick play of the balls for fellas like Waterworth to scoop away, and then he can link with players. Now it's Ridyard on this right side. Feeds it out to Hanson. Good movement. Johnny McDoyle following up, kicking it long. It'll bounce, it'll bobble, it'll trickle, it'll be fielded by Hall. And Craig Hall, you never know what you're going to get from him. Are you going to get the spectacular, or are you going to get an error? And this time, it's neither really. It's just solid work.
Yeah, just solid work. I mean, I think we had a couple of more plays in that set then. A little bit surprised we took a kick in, because we don't really want to be giving the ball up to Featherstone, letting them run at you, and we've given a penalty away.
Yeah, 23 and a half minutes gone. Just rode a little bit high. That one was an easy penalty in the end for Aaron Moore, our match referee, to be able to give. And yeah, not much in it, but it did rise just around the chin area, so it's always going to get penalised, that. And as a result, Featherstone marching down the ground ominously again with a 14 points to 0 advantage. It comes infield to Brown. He plays it off to Lockwood, who's been, I would say, really heavily involved during these first 23, 24 minutes. He'll play 25 out from the try line. Down the left, it's moved to Bussey. Does that shuffle step again. Gets an offload going for Kopjak. Kopjak does a 360-degree spin. And that pass looked a little suspect and has been called such. Connor Jones was ready for celebrating that try as he split his way through. But that happened directly in line from our commentary position here. Clever play again from Featherstone. But yeah, that pass was adjacent. That's a big word for a Sunday afternoon. You look shocked when I used that word.
I did. It was just getting me thesaurus out. If I could even say it, it'd be better.
Here's Mike Butt making some ground for Swinton at the back. He'll play it to Waterworth. Brogan follows up. Lovely little step, which half takes him around Day. He's doing some solid work out there. And Swinton, no look pass from Ridyard. Hanson running, released it to Rodri Lloyd. The defence caught up with him though on that 40-metre line. Brooks plays it off to Ridyard. He comes across to this left-hand side, delayed his pass further. And as a result, there was a real smack then. But Ridyard on this left-hand side feeds it out, long ball, out to Mike Butt. Butt being wrestled near the touchline, and he's in touch. Not the real running chance that he really needs to have there for Mike Butt.
No, it was great defence. We've done a blindside move. It was great defence, cut out ball. It was great defence, and I think this is Swinton's issue at the moment. We're not completing, and we're not putting extra pressure onto Featherstone.
Was a heck of a hit from Gareth Gale, ex-Featherstone Lions player, by the way, is Gale. Rovers back in possession. Bussey, no sign of that step on this occasion. Still proving a real handful to put down. He's a bundle of energy, Jack Bussey, in this game so far. 26 minutes gone, 14-0 in favour of the Featherstone Rovers side as it's dropped back for Brad Day. Solid whip from him again up to the halfway line, plays it quickly. And Kopjak even has time to alter his line and bounces away from two. Feeds it on to Bussey. Bussey again comes back the same way Kopjak went. And this time he'll be forced to play it. Kick comes in from Craig Hall. It's a deep one over the head of Geronimo Doyle. It'll bounce, it'll bobble, and he's looked up and he's been hit by Hall, but he's done well there as Doyle. And as he got in the field of play, he has done. That's magnificent work from Geronimo Doyle.
Excellent.
Now Mike Butt, 5 hard-fought metres there, and that is like manna from heaven to Swinton Lions. That penalty, all offside. Featherstone.
Over enthusiastic coach killers. James Webster won't be happy with that.
He'll be turning grey with giving penalties away like that, won't he, James Webster? But look at this work. Look at this work from Geronimo Doyle. Had no right to find the field of play here.
He did really, really well. And as I say, he's quite a casual character on and off the field, and lots of talent.
Let's hope that we get to see more of that as this game progresses. 27.5 minutes gone. And we're going to get Swinton Lions to tap. Everyone was just getting ready. In fact, we've got 2 balls on the field, which is why we had the delay in the background. Craig Hall dispatches it, and away we go again as Ridyard gets his hands on it. Feeds it to Brooks. Oh, I'm not too keen on that challenge which came his way round the legs by John Davis, but he's got away with it. Gets up really gingerly there. Swinton in possession. Says something though when Rovers can bring someone of the quality of John Davis on for his first appearance of the season. Now he's played out the left-hand side. Hope tries to check back on the inside, wrapped up by 2. Waterworth releases it to Spencer. Now Brooks in contact to Hanson. He finds some further support on the right-hand side, but Mins rushes the player and Ridyard is caught. Hanson in field to Brogan. Now Spencer, big drive forward inside that 20-metre line. Referee raises his arm aloft, so it's the last tackle. 14 points to nil. 12 minutes of the first half remaining. Sorry, as the kick comes in from Ridyard. That's interesting, and it gives Hall some work to do. And that carry didn't quite have the Geronimo Doyles about it, did he? He got caught in the in-goal area. There was no way that he could spin his way out of that challenge.
It was a good end of set. It's all Swinton need to do is complete the sets and ask questions at the end of each set. And we've I think 28 minutes in, I think that's the first questions they've asked. So hopefully we'll get the ball back and we build again.
Forces a drop out from under the posts. I'll tell you what, he's got a lot on that. That's going over the halfway line. Hansen's underneath it, feeds it into Spencer. Spencer's picking who he's going to target. And I tell you what, when Spencer gets up ahead of steam, you've literally just got to close your eyes and just grab what you can. Here's Brooks. Once upon a time, a Featherstone player. So there are a couple of links between these two clubs this afternoon. Down this right-hand side with Ridyard. And Hansen. Hansen on to Geronimo Doyle, skips away from 2, releases it 7 style, back to Ridyard. Ridyard in the middle of the field trying to dance his way past the defender. There's no way he's getting away there, but he releases the offload for Hansen. Hansen's going to have to yield to that challenge. 12 metres away from the line. Waterworth brings it right, long ball to Ridyard. Ridyard to Geronimo Doyle. Doyle kept the ball moving to Lewis Roberts. Was a little bit scrappy how it ended up with Roberts. But Swinton still in possession. Long ball into the middle. Ridyard fires it out to Hansen, who's appeared on this left-hand side. He kicks for the corner. Mike Butt couldn't take that in. I tell you what, if he had done it with try time.
Certainly was. And, I mean, again, we're starting to see the open play and the off-the-cuff play that Swinton have become renowned for in the last couple of years. And just a bit unfortunate at the end, but they need to take these chances.
That was a good kick, that. I could see exactly what they were thinking of, and he just couldn't quite take it in. I like the invention, though.
Yeah, very much so.
And it's, like you said before, it's not a bad place to turn over the ball, is it, either? Just 10 metres away from their own line here, Featherstone Rovers.
Yeah, they've now completed 2 sets, so let's hope we can build from this.
See that Junior Moores is on from a Featherstone point of view. He's that big fella that you can see with the ball tucked under his arm. There's still some concern, I think, being shown for, I think it's Craig Hall at the back here. And then there's another, just underneath the post as well, there's another player just being patched up. He's got the okay to continue. So Rovers bought themselves a little bit of time. They've managed to get the breath. They've been under that bit of pressure like Damien was commenting about there. 20 metres away from their own line. That's where the ball is played. Here's Blackmore. Does some real unheralded work from that sort of position, just Blackmore. Had a lengthy championship career now with the likes of Sheffield Eagles as well. There it's played down this left-hand side from Rovers. Getting closer to our commentary position as Holmes skips, drops it back to John Davis. Started his career 10 years ago now, did Davis, with Castleford. He was always one of those players that I've rated at championship level. Here's Holmes, skips away from 2, carries on going. He's powered his way through a couple of challenges there. 32 minutes gone. 14 points to nil in favour of Featherstone Rovers as Hall punts this ball high. Where's that one going? Doyle's watching it, takes it in over his own line. It's back to the 20-metre line for a tap restart and, more importantly, a 7-tackle set. Here comes Mike Butt. Great yards from him. 12 metres gained with that first carry. And can Swinton build themselves in this particular set? It'll help with runs like that from Lapori as well, a real underrated winger. Waterworth to his left-hand side. Ridyard skips and goes forward now. I'm sure there's a forward that should be doing that more than him, though. Played into the middle with Brooks. Now Paddy Jones only knows one direction. I remember having a chat with Stuart Littler pre-season about that guy, and he just said, listen, Dave, he just goes forward, he's uncompromising. Now it's played out the back, and it's with hope. But I like seeing guys like that. He'll just roll the sleeves up.
Absolutely, an absolute workhorse.
Brooks on to the aforementioned Jones. Crashes forward, takes 2 out of the line. And Waterworth, long ball right. Kick back to the post from Hansen. It's bouncing, it's bobbling invitingly, but taken by Craig Hall, who now looks to weave his way forward. And in the end, that's some really good work from Craig Hall.
Certainly was. He's made 20 metres after the catch.
Another set of 6 coming up here for Rovers. It's been wiped down, so there must have been a little offence in that particular tackle. Gale plays it. And now they'll get a penalty here, will Featherstone Rovers. Well, after all that pressure of the last couple of minutes, they just ended up being marched back down the field again.
Again, Stu will be pulling his hair out, no doubt. It's just small margins can make big differences in this game, and that's just one of them.
We certainly heard Stuart Littler a couple of times from our commentary position, and we're sat, about 30, 40 metres away from him, so hopefully his messages are getting out on the pitch. Here comes Junior Moores. Tell you what, that was a brave challenge from Waterworth. He took him down one-on-one there. Davis, straightforward drive. They're setting a position here, Featherstone, building it steadily, 30 metres out from the try line. Brown takes it right. Hall, good ball out to Wellham. Chris Wellham, 12 metres away from that line. Plays it to Day. Oh, I tell you what, he's built like a second rower, and he's the winger.
Yeah, certainly is a big lad. He'd probably been better moving the ball there, actually, because they were set up for the attack, and
they've gone close to the try line there. In fact, they've gone a bit better than closer. They've gone over it, and Day has scored. Brad Day out on that right-hand side. And I'm looking forward to seeing this replay of this and just seeing exactly what happened, because there was a lot of defenders there from a Swinton point of view.
Certainly, again.
So yeah, they brought it down that right-hand side, and somehow Day has got there. He just found that little gap in the tackle.
He did try. They were all, to be fair to Featherstone, they looked like they were coming out the line, and they went blind.
Second try of the season for Brad Day. Makes it 18 points to 0 with this kick to come. Brown once more with the ball on the tee. Sam Brooks has been replaced in front of us. He's just shrugging his shoulders. Can't believe that try got conceded. But it has been from a Swinton point of view, and it's 18 points to 0.
I mean, Stuart will be disappointed with that one, because our line defence most of the season has been excellent, and they're the sort of things we've been turning people over.
I think Rovers will be happy with their work so far in this first half, won't they?
Yeah, they're very competent indeed.
So Brown strikes it left-footed towards the post. The flags are raised. 20 points to 0 now in favour of Featherstone Rovers. 4 tries scored this first half. Brad Day the latest. And we're 36 minutes into the game. What sort of messages would you be sending out to Swinton with like 4 or 5 minutes left of this first half, Damien?
This is, don't concede again. Keep your composure. Let's try and score.
So they come back to the halfway line. Ridyard once again placing it on the tee. Where's this going? He's changed the trajectory of the kick. Hall takes it virtually under his post and launches Frankie Holton into the defence. Now here's Ben Blackmore tearing his way forward. And again, it's simple carries out of dummy half, but it's getting Featherstone down the ground. Jones plays it. Infield it comes to Moores. And Brown, and it's out down that right-hand side with Wellham. Wellham between defenders. Picking up space. Picking up pace, I should say, as well. Up to that 30-metre line. Here's Gale, the man who's built like a second rower, out there on that wing. Releases the ball. They keep it going here. Now Junior Moores dents that Swinton defence further. Looks around for the offload and finds it. Here's Davis. Davis keeps his low. He keeps himself low and he gets his way to the try line. Well, just when Swinton would have been hoping to try and build their way back into the game, Featherstone Rovers have been able to go right upfield again. Look at this work from Junior Moores, and what an offload. Davis keeping himself alive on the play, and then just low and dive for the try line. 24 points to 0. A 5th try of the first half. This one going in favour of John Davis. So Brown, this time to the left-hand side of the post. Minute and a half out from the break. Fifth try of the first half scored there by the Featherstone Rovers side. Brown concentrating on those posts. Can he get the purchase he needs on this one? Yes, he can. The flags are raised. 3 kicks out of 5 now for Famunu Brown. And 26-0 in favour of Featherstone Rovers. I tell you what, Swinton looks shell-shocked.
Yeah, they certainly do. And I mean, 4 of Featherstone's tries, it's been 2 tries back-to-back with each other. And it's probably a little bit of a misleading scoreline, to be honest, but they've took every single chance they've had. Fair play. You know, it's good quality rugby.
Here comes Halton. Another one of those guys that's played his rugby over at Lee Miners Rangers. Also had an earlier stint with Lee Centurions. As it's down this left-hand side. Rovers 25 metres away from their own line. Jones picks up, feeds it quickly down that left. They've just spotted a slight deficiency and have gone for it time after time here of Featherstone. Halton in the middle of the field. 3 Lions players clinging onto him for dear life. Jones has more for company but brings it left to Holmes. Then it's fired out and eventually finds Blackmore. Now Moores. Oh, he's holding that ball like a basketball. Amazing handling from him.
Certainly a big unit.
Brown out to Wellham. Kick forward from Wellham. Tell you what, that's a difficult ball to deal with. And Swinton have managed to do extremely well just to grab hold of it in the end. Doyle in field. Continues to come down this right-hand side. Lepori caught by 2. Into the last few seconds of the half. There's Mitch Cox. 26-0 the Lions are trailing. Ridyard fires it out the back to Hanson. He drops it over his shoulder to Paddy Jones. Straight there into the burly chest of Moores. Long ball left to Ridyard. He kicks it long. And it's a good touch finder. Nobody in too much rush here. I think everybody's looked up at that scoreboard and is waiting for the hooter. And the hooter has sounded, which means that we won't get time to get underway once again. So 26-0 in favour of Featherstone Rovers. As Damien mentioned, there was 2 basic scoring sprees, weren't there, of 2 tries in like 2 minutes each time.
Back-to-back tries, absolute coach killers, and I think, you know, Featherstone have been exceptional in the first half. There's no 2 ways about it. I think Swinton have been punished for a couple of mistakes, and it's just about getting second half. He's coming out, putting some respect onto this, and keeping the composure.
To be fair, though, I mean, you get a couple of tries on the board, and that can change the whole complexion very quickly. I mean, I know you're sort of looking, and I can understand you looking at it and saying, "Oh, it's such a disappointing half," and it is looking at that scoreboard. But a couple of early tries can just turn a game of rugby like that these days, can't they?
It certainly can, and the team the Swinton have put out today can actually do that. They're a good, fast movement team, and a couple of times they kept the composure. Going through the sets, getting on the edges, they've done really well. Rovers have done very well coming through the middle. They're a bit bigger than Swinton. They've got bigger forwards out, and they're setting a really strong platform through the middle and then playing off the end of it. A lot of it's been very simple rugby, but very, very effective.
There's a word that you can use there, relentless, and that's what they've done. They've not got bored of doing the same thing and hitting the same areas, have they, Rovers? Well, it's been relentless.
It's worked for them. It's worked. The coach has done the game plan. He knew what Swinton have got out, and they've targeted the middle areas all the time. I mean, there was a couple of the tries which have come from blindside moves, which, again, on a better day, Swinton defend those, and today haven't.
So 26 points to nil at the interval here. Shall we go through some replays? I'm sure there's a lot of Rovers fans back at home are saying, yeah, show us how we've scored those tries. And we'll do exactly that. First of all, there's Holmes here, skipping away from a couple of defenders. Did that extremely well all first half. Allowed to drift too far down this right-hand side. Then it was Brown. That offload made this one from Hall. Well and plenty of time. And Gale opening the scoreline after just 5 minutes. The conversion attempt was missed. Then we saw this. That old rugby saying, never let a ball bounce. It outfoxed 2 players. And I tell you what, Tom Holmes deserved that because he followed up his own kick perfectly. Then this was magnificent, which came right from a restart. Slight doubt on that pass. I've got to say, having seen it a second viewing there. But Mins finishing it off. And remember, that came from a kick-off. Featherstone Rovers bringing it down this left-hand side. And then, bit of defiance here. He's no right to get back in the field of play here, Geronimo Doyle. Twisting, turning, spitting, finding the floor. And as a result, he's got that. And then a chance down this right-hand side. Little clever kick from Ridyard. Hall, no way through. Good defence from Roberts and Lapore. It's been a busy afternoon for those 2 players in particular. And then we saw this chance. Swinton giving the ball a bit of air. Hansen with a clever chip over the top. On another day, Butt takes that and he's in at the corner.
Absolutely.
And then this was the defence. This is what I was interested in. So there's 3 or 4 players all around that play the ball area. And to be honest, the player on the left-hand side there, Mitch Cox, didn't know whether to come in or go out. There was a little bit of lack of communication. He didn't trust what was happening on the inside. And as a result, he was the man that ended up conceding.
I mean, it's three men onto one. You'd expect the defenders to win.
And this is what you'd expect on Moores as well. But he somehow found a perfect offload. And then it was just, well, Davis lower than a submarine diving for that try line, to be honest, and getting and finding that 4 points. And as a result, it's 26 points to nil.
Featherstone have been extremely clinical today. They've had 4 or 5 chances and they've put them all away. Swinton have had a couple of chances and haven't put them away.
We'll have a think about what else has happened in that first half and come back to you in just a couple of minutes. But first of all, we'll find out what went on at the England training session earlier this week.
Yeah, it's a great day. It was really intense, but it was good to get around the boys, get around the coaching staff, and meeting Sean for the first time in person. We've had a lot of Zooms, but yeah, it was a great session.
No, it was great. It was great to meet some of the lads, new faces as well, that I've not met before. So, first in the session, we've obviously done a lot on the Zoom and Zoom meetings, a lot of video online. So it was actually great to meet everyone today and get some quality work done on the field.
Yeah, really good. It was really good to get together, and it's always nice to put on an England, even if it's just a training shirt. Good to get together and obviously meet Sean as the head coach and kind of learn his philosophies and what he wants to do with us. And it's pretty basic session, but really enjoyable. And I feel like I've got a lot out of it, and learnt new things off a new person, which is always good. Sean as the head coach has had so much success. And just got a little snippet into it today, and it was a really enjoyable session.
A good first get together. It's the first time I've been involved in one, and I've really enjoyed it. Yeah, seeing a different coach's points of view in a game and stuff like that, and how they go about stuff. Yeah, it's good, and it's something that I'll be looking to step back to my club. Everything we worked on today is something that I need to add to my game if I want to be in there at the end of the year. So yeah, still a lot to learn, and it's enjoyable.
Yeah, massively. The coaches have made it clear what they expect for us individually and as a team from day one. And that was just transferred straight to the field there, and that was a fantastic session, and it was super sharp, as it always is when you're training at international level, and good signs early on.
Yeah, definitely. And when you're training with the best in Super League as well, you know, it's good and it ups your levels. Well, you have to up your levels, but it's good to like I said, the training with quality, and it's no surprise because the players are top quality as well.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know, you turn up and you just know straight away. You know, you're at England, and everything's high quality. You know, everything gets looked at. No small detail gets missed. Oh, it's you know, it's good. It's eye-opening sometimes. You know, to get a coach to look at the small details that you might miss sometimes. And yeah, this morning, all the small details, you know, got picked up on. So, as a player, it's great because you know it helps you to improve and be a better player. You know, next day.
Yeah, first class. You know, super impressive coaching staff, obviously. Full of ex-internationals as well, which helps, and obviously their experience will help us as we go on to the World Cup as we go through the season. So, you know, high expectation, but high quality. I think we delivered that today.
Actually, in real life, us speaking to each other in real life, yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, it seems a bit like weird that we're actually speaking to each other, which is crazy. But no, really enjoyable. You know, got a lot out of the day, and it's going to hold us in good stead, I'd say.
Taken 10 months to get here, but Super League has reached its finale. Oh! He's hit the post. The chasers are on. The ball is disappearing. It's Wellesby. A surreal season has reached the conclusion.
Going for the corner. Well, that could be a sensational try. They could be in, they are in. Great run from Campbell. Can he get it down?
And he'll score! On the toes! He's still on the toes!
He's got it!
Oh, yes, he can!
Sees it, backs the pace and will score! Going for the line, reaches out, ball on the line, spots the gap, they're going for it! The cup winners, now the double winners, the Leeds Rhinos! That's his most sensational try!
He's going over for a try! He's going to score a try! It's the try!
Off he goes!
A tremendous try!
It is one of the great Wembley tries!
It is the Challenge Cup final.
And it's going to be Ash Handley.
A kick to the corner. This is a chase, and that's a brilliant take. Superb for Frank Goldthorpe.
And we're off. Just popped up in the hole.
Here is an unforgettable moment for this group of Leeds players. Maybe this is a new golden generation.
So there we had the words of the first England training session. Really nice to see the team coming together, like with everything COVID related. It's meant that players, teams, they've not been able to get together in the right way, and especially seeing as we're in a World Cup year, that's important, isn't it? Now moving forward.
Well, certainly is. It's great to see the international guys getting together and getting those training sessions in. I mean, they've got one game and they're straight into the World Cup, so it's a tough ask. But to be fair, it's probably much the same for the rest of the other countries as well. And I'm looking forward to the end of the year with the October, November, because it looks like a really good competition building.
Oh, you and me both. I mean, there's the Women's World Cup as well. There's also the Physical Disability Rugby League World Cup. We've got Wheelchair World Cup. In fact, we're going World Cup mad, aren't we, in 2021, which is fantastic to see. And we also saw as well what the benefit is of having such an established partner in Betfred with the sponsorship that they do of the sport. So absolutely fantastic to see. It'd be remiss of us not to actually mention where we sit with regards this weekend's set of fixtures. A couple of games to tell you about that have already taken place this weekend. So we had yesterday Batley Bulldogs coming up with a resounding win against Oldham. I was quite surprised at that scoreline. I don't know about you, Damien.
Yeah, I believe Batley were exceptional yesterday. I think Oldham were a little bit off it, and Batley took full advantage.
I always like looking out for lads like Johnny Campbell because he's been around the game for quite some time. He scored 2 tries in that game for Batley. Ben White also scoring a couple of tries as well for the Bulldogs. Oldham, a little bit disappointed with that. Matt Diskin certainly has some work to do on the back of that. I tell you who else has got some work to do. Simon Finnegan over at Widnes. I saw some of this game and Dewsbury were very, very good. They kept it simple, they kicked it long, they chased really well and basically capitalised on every mistake that Widnes made and came away with a deserved 22-14 win.
Yeah, for me with Dewsbury, with Liam Finn at half-back, he pulled the strings there yesterday. And Paul Sykes, 2 very experienced players who pulled the strings, and they played very well last night against Widnes.
You can see those other games that are following us. So Whitehaven and Newcastle kicks off at 3, Bradford Bulls against Halifax Panthers at 5:15, and York City Knights against Sheffield Eagles at 7:30. What, you only signed up for this game? Oh, look what you're missing. You can sign up for future weekends on www.rugby-league.com/live stream. You can purchase all weekend games for £20, and I tell you what, there's a real good lineup for games next weekend as well. We'll bring you those at full time, but both teams are out. Our match referee is virtually ready, and we're just seconds away from the start of the second half. It's a second half that sees Swinton Lions trail by 26 points to 0 and Featherstone Rovers in command. But it could all change. Let's see if that can happen in the next 40 minutes. Don't adjust your sets, as they said once upon a time. And we just await the referee's whistle. Aaron Moore to get us back underway. Craig Hall sends this one long. And we're back in action as Hansen fires it into the middle. Lepore is there, spins away from a couple of tacklers and makes it 12 metres from his own line. Doyle at dummy half feeds it to Jones. Jones marches downfield, 3 players clinging off him. And now Waterworth, long pass left, Ridyard keeps it moving. Good edge defence though from Wellham in particular from Featherstone Rovers. Ridyard brings it across the middle, sends it to the right hand side. They continue going down that way with Rodri Lloyd. All wrapped up there, however, is the Welshman. He'll play it on the 40 metre line. Lofted ball for Hansen, did well to take it in, and Swinton making progress steadily. There's a first touch this second half for Jordan Brown, and Hansen put under a little bit of pressure, kicks that long, and it bounces and it bobbles and it trickles and it gets inside the Rovers try line. Means that Blackmore's got work to do, and he did it well, but a much better, more constructive set that.
Very much so, and a good line chase at the end.
Sticking with you here, Damien, what do you think both sides would be saying to their relevant staff? So what do you think they would have said? So from a Rovers point of view, 26-0 up, what would you be saying if you're James Webster?
Do the same again. You know what's working, keep going with it.
And from a Swinton point of view?
Better line speed, better decision making on attack.
Short and sweet messages, I like that. Here's Featherstone Rovers, Junior Moores crossing the halfway line, picking up a little bit of momentum just over that point. And he'll play this to Jones, who sends it left. It's lofted high in the air once again from Holmes. Geronimo Doyle comes for it, takes it comfortably, and the defence just that little bit too keen and eager, but I think there's been an obstruction somewhere in the back play, and this is why we have this penalty. So it's a penalty to Swinton Lions. Hansen looks up to the touchline, says, "We'll have a bit of that, sir." Fires it 20 metres further upfield. 26 points to 0. 2 minutes into this second half. What have Swinton got to say? Well, Brogan tries to push his way forward through the middle. Waterworth scoops up out of dummy half, finds Jones. The former Wigan man rolled over on his back. Found his front again. I suppose with a guy that big, you'd be having it all on to try and control it. Swinton coming down this left-hand side. 30 metres away from the line. 25 metres in from touch. Brogan with another carry. Fires it onto Hansen. Hansen, good ball. This is better from Swinton. 10 metres away from the line. Waterworth takes it back out to this left-hand side. Hansen and Ridyard. Ridyard drops it on the boot. Surely that's been played at. And there's a knock-on somewhere in the piece. Where's this one coming from?
I think Featherstone knocked on first.
It's going to be Featherstone ball from the look of it. Or is it? No, it is. You're right. And yeah, that was a beautiful kick, that. And yeah, definitely a knock-on there from Brad Day. Dare I say he's had a Brad Day with that one. Waterworth to his left-hand side. Big run in there from Jordan Brown. 5 metres out from the line. Swinton knocking on the door. What shapes are they going to throw in this set? Well, Brogan skips away from 2. Holton brings him to the floor, 5 metres away. Steady progress from Swinton. Out on this left-hand side with Ridyard. He fires it further wide to Mitch Cox. He had butt for company, couldn't find him. Now it comes into the middle of Ridyard again. Drags a couple of defenders out of place. Now Hansen slides his kick in. I tell you what, that's a great kick. Roberts got a piece of it, but couldn't quite touch it down comfortably.
Yeah, it was a good end of set, and unfortunately, just a little bounce took it away from Lewis.
Unfortunately, as well, from a Swinton point of view, this is a 7-tackle set as well, isn't it, from the knock-on? So Mins takes the first carry. 12 metres downfield he makes. Now Wellham. They've managed to set the line though, Swinton. Good initial contact there from Brown and Hope. Quick play out of dummy half though. Tell you what, Rovers trying to build that head of steam on the halfway line. Jones picks it up. Finds some support from Junior Moores, who plays it off to Frankie Holton, who looks round for further support. Now he offloads, finds Davis. Davis comes back down this right-hand side. They're just attacking from all angles, Featherstone Rovers, and they've got themselves in a real decent position, but there's been a knock-on, and Swinton can take a collective sigh of relief, I think.
Yeah, an unforced error, which just takes them from being under the pump a bit. Well, it's time to build again. They've had a couple of constructive sets in this half, and let's build for the second half.
So referee's whistle sounds and we're back underway. Hansen skips back in field. I'm sure he then picked the biggest forward that he could find to run into. Why does that happen so many times in a rugby league field? Roberts, infield to Lapore. No backward step from him. He'll be after a quick play the ball too and gets it. But finds Doyle. Doyle down the ground. That's better from Swinton. And Waterworth linking with Brogan. Good footwork from Brogan. Good 15-20 metres gain there. Waterworth. Players flooding forward. Hansen is the latest player to be tackled with it. 30 metres out from the line. Last tackle has been ruled here. And it's out on the left-hand side with Ridyard. Ridyard with boot on ball. Dabs it into the corner. Oh, the bounce just evading Mike Butt, but he does well to chase down Craig Hall. And it's going to be a dropout from under the post. But that was, again, really constructive stuff from Swinton.
Very much so. Some really good exit stuff coming right down the middle. Set them up. And we get the ball back.
I like the use of the outside backs. The outside backs really sped it up then, didn't they, from a Swinton point of view?
Yeah, very much so. Swinton had a quick team. And once we've got ball, they'll do something with it.
Well, they're going to get ball back here, he says, with heart in mouth for a second, seeing if Hansen can take it in, which he does. Fires it in for the support. And there's Jordan Brown.
Yeah, good yards after collision there from Jordan.
Good yards indeed. Well. I certainly agree. Now Waterworth picks up Paddy Jones. These are more tough meters. He's still going and eventually finds elbows and knees to the floor. Waterworth dummies left, comes right. Brogan. Oh, just needed that little bit of support play to his left-hand side then. They were in. He's brought left again. Ridyard back on the infield. Felt Paddy Jones. He's twisting and spinning in the challenge. 2 metres out from the line. Waterworth, does he fancy it? He puts it right. Ridyard under pressure. Well, that was all due to the inside defender putting Ridyard under plenty of pressure. It meant that it was a dipping pass, shall we say, which was always going to be difficult for Hansen to take.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with Featherstone's line defence today. They stay together, they move quickly as a unit.
And it's that man, John Davis. I mean, sometimes that type of defence isn't really heralded, but that pushing from the inside is key, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Forcing the error.
8 minutes of the second half gone. Here comes Brad Day for Featherstone Rovers. They've been pinned back for much of this second half so far of Rovers, as Junior Morse is replaced by Lockwood. He made a real big impact on the first half. James Lockwood, as Blackmore creates a wake of destruction. Certainly a Swinton player struggling in the background there. I think he caught a stray boot there, did Jordan Brown. And to be fair to our match official, he was straight on the seam, wasn't he? Stopping the play, I should say. 9 minutes of the second half gone. Clock has been stopped by our match official. And I think it's a good point, you know, sort of 9-10 minutes into the second half, just to reflect on, I suppose, how much of an improvement we've seen this second half from a Swinton persuasion.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, one knock on, but they played through the sets, they completed, and they're asking questions of the Rovers' defence, and Rovers have done well to defend it. They've done very well.
I suppose we've always got to say, haven't we, there's two sides to this sport. You've got your attack and your defence, and now Rovers have been tested out defensively, which, to be honest, there were periods of that first half where it was a little bit too one out from a Swinton point of view.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Rovers had the lion's share of the possession and made the most of it.
So we're just about to restart the game, he says, as Taylor Brown is being brought off around the back from a Swinton point of view. And our clock can restart as well. And Featherstone Rovers make 8 metres with that carry. Lockwood, his first touch since re-entering the field of play, and it takes 3 to stop him. They've rolled him on his back. Better control that from Swinton. Jones brings it right for Davis. There's a lot to admire there from Davis, because he's not the biggest of forwards.
He's got a great goal forward.
Lockwood plays it into the middle. Holmes skies that one. I'm not sure how much thought he's put into that kick, but it's certainly one to test out Lapori, who does particularly well. And he had a couple of 6-footers really rolling down on him then, didn't he?
Yeah, he's very safe under the high ball, Richard. And I mean, he's an Italian international. He's a great player.
A lot of people forget that he's represented Italy. I think I was at that game, actually, where they played against England. Let's not say anything more about that, though. From an England point of view, as Swinton rolled away downfield, Brogan. What I like with Brogan is his late footwork at the line. It buys him an extra couple of metres nearly every carry.
His footwork's excellent.
And now Ridyard taking over. Short ball, good defence from Brad Day. Davis also involved there. Hope with nowhere to go. Now Ridyard fires it out to Hanson, who skies it with the kick. Blackmore, no pressure put on him though, and as a result, Swinton actually a bit offside.
Yeah,
there.
they were, and I think the players were aware of it. And as soon as he's made the tackle, you're going to be called offside, unfortunately.
In a lot of ways, it was clever play from Blackmore, wasn't it? Because I think he knew that all those players in front were in front of the referee.
We could hear the referee call it. He shouted to the players that you're offside, but it's human nature. They're not going to let him run past him. They're going to tackle him.
Exactly, but it has ensured that Featherstone Rovers have marched another 15 metres downfield, and that's the first carry, which has brought further good metres. Now 40 metres away from the line. Infield it comes. Holmes, dummies, brings it back left. Good movement. Solid defence, though, from Swinton. 25 metres away from that line. Here's Ferris. Still has a lot to offer as Brett Ferris. Already mentioned he's had a lengthy career, 34 years of age now. That's where he'll play it, in the middle of the field. It comes right to Holmes, who then finds Day. Tries to escape the clutches of Mitch Cox, who just has to hang on to anything that he could and wait for reinforcements, which from his point of view arrived. And now it comes back into the middle. There's Brown. Fires it out to Holmes. Holmes keeps it moving. That's to no one in particular. Well cleaned up on that far side though, but the ball goes to ground. Good pressure from Swinton. Now it's in the arms of Geronimo Doyle, who tries to launch the counter-attack. 7 tackle set coming up now for the Lions. Lapori gets bounced in that challenge. We know that he'll get up and he'll come back for more though, because that's just his character. Long ball, an ambitious one to Ridyard. Here fires it further wide. This defence, though, very, very good from Rovers. Moving up quickly. Wellham and Day involved in that one. The two of them have some really good communication going on. Now Brooks back on the field for the Lions. Good control in that particular challenge from Lockwood. And here's Hansen, plays it out the back to Geronimo Doyle. Bit of space for Lapori. Stepped in field, then stepped out, then gets upended. That should be a penalty. You can't be doing that, lifting players up off the ground in that manner.
Yeah, it was just bad technique on the tackle, really. I don't think there's anything malicious in it, just poor technique.
Again, I really like his battling. He's my favourite Championship player, I think, is Richard Lapori, because, let's be honest, he's quite a small lad, isn't he? But he gets forward and he's got the heart of a lion. He's at the right club.
He certainly is, and he always makes yards after contact. He's got a great leg pump.
And here comes Jones. Paddy Jones, turn round in the tackle. Who's involved in it? Davis. Been everywhere. Good work from Kobe Green, darting his way forward. Another guy who'll be hoping to work his way into Welsh contention come World Cup time. Ridyard on this left-hand side. Disguised his pass for Mitch Cox. Cox is up to the 10-metre line. Famunu Brown is all over him. Lucky not to be penalised there as Ridyard passes to himself, then gets it out to Hansen. Hansen on that right-hand side, kicking forward. Good work from Hansen. And a dropout has been forced thanks to some really good chase. Swinton are really starting to put a bit of pressure on, and I noticed there's a change coming in here for Featherstone Rovers with Pirata looking to get on the field. That was a real clever little kick, that. And Dean Pirata is entering the field with 14 minutes of the second half gone. So he's got 26 minutes to impress. And he's been in good form. Another Italian international.
Yeah, certainly isn't. I think this is more like the contest we anticipated from the first whistle now. The second half is...
It's ebbed and flowed, hasn't it, this second half? Yeah.
It certainly has, and it's more of an even contest in the second half.
Here's Jones. Plays that ball. Green to Brooks, back on field. That was a terrible pass from Brooks. I believe, Damien, they call that sort of behaviour from yourself as commentator's curse. We were just praising it, weren't we? And then the mistake has come.
Certainly was, and it was it wasn't a great ball inside.
I think they got excited, didn't they? And then just didn't quite go ahead with the basics.
Like we said at half time, it's all about keeping your composure to build the pressure.
Rovers won't mind. Kopjak is going on in place of Davis. He deserves a round of applause. He's walking past me. I'm giving him a round of applause because he's been magnificent.
Really put a really good stint in.
Quick play from Pirata. That's just the danger, directness that he offers you from dummy half. Hall follows up, plays it off to Holmes. Holmes drops it back over his shoulder for Lockwood. Lockwood finds some support. They're carrying on the movement. Here comes Pirata. And that's an all or nothing challenge coming in from Ridyard just to prevent Rovers there. Marching down the ground steadily. Holmes kicking over the top. Is there anybody there to collect? There's nobody there. And they have touchdown of Rovers. This is going to be a try. And that was a magnificent kick over. They were scrambling back so hard then, Swinton. Pirata down the middle. And this was a beautiful kick from Holmes. Let's just watch this again. And it's Blackmore with the touch. Blackmore touching down to stretch this advantage out to 30 points to nil. First try of the second half. And it was a beauty when it came eventually.
It certainly was. It's come against the run of play, really, but it was absolutely a fantastic kick again. Featherstone's in-field kicking's been absolutely excellent today. And again, it's caused a problem, scored a try. Just really good play.
I agree with you, yeah. That has come a little bit against the run of play. I mean, I'm sure there's, Featherstone Rovers fans at home, almost chucking the tea at the telly at that. But, great play in the end. Lovely kick over the top. And Blackmore doing what he's done so often in following up and getting himself in the position. So, this is Famunu Brown. 3 from 5 from the boot so far from him this afternoon. Difficult angle. 10 metres in from touch. He appears a very studious kicker, Takes a while. Gets himself set. Left-footed strikes it. It's waved away. He'll have to go back and do more studying, I think. 30 points to 0. 3 from 6 now from Famunu Brown. But some really good play from Featherstone Rovers in getting forward. And like we said with Swinton keeping it simple, that Featherstone went back to the tried and trusted, didn't they? Punching holes down the middle.
Absolutely.
Kick into the corner.
Absolutely. Textbook rugby, really.
17 minutes of the second half gone. 30 points to 0 in favour of Featherstone Rovers. Martin Ridyard back on the midway line. And away we go again. He's put this one high, a mid-ranger. They'll contest this. It'll bounce really awkwardly, and Hoper's taking it in for Swinton. Bit of variation. I like it. And the Lions back in possession. Spencer sets himself for the drive. Stonewall defence from Featherstone Rovers right in front of the post, though. It's brought out to this left-hand side. Ridyard, short ball for Hope. Wellham had darted out thinking there was something on behind. Green. Form Bradford man finding Ridyard. Now Hanson. Further out wide to Lewis Roberts. Still going Roberts. 3 players hanging off him. Eventually rolled down. 2 metres out from that line. Are we going to find the first points of the game from a Swinton point of view? It'll come to the middle with Hanson. Hanson drops it back over his shoulder for Jones to set the position again. His legs went up in the air. No penalty on this occasion. 10 metres out from the line. Long ball left to Ridyard. Ridyard plays it at the line and finds Doyle, who drags Brown to him. And there's no escape in the clutches of Brown on that occasion. Helped out by Brad Day. Last tackle signalled. Ridyard gets his hand on the ball again. Kicks forward. He was aiming for the post there with his kick, but ends up with a little bit too much meat on it. And it'll come out to the 20-metre line for the tap restart. They can really get themselves set here, can Featherstone. Gareth Gale works his way forward. He's that big he could fall over and nearly make 10 metres, could Gareth Gale. I don't think I've seen many bigger outside backs at championship level.
No, certainly not. He's the tallest winger I've seen in this competition.
And he's got to reach down, so he can really get down to his bootstraps as well. Picked it up as that loose ball reached him and made another 12 metres forward. That's where he'll play it to Parata. And Frankie Holton. Massive metres from Frankie Holton. Just keeps going and keeps going. And they try to wrestle the ball from his grasp, but that's going nowhere. He's got a bit of boss stick on that one, I think. Now Holmes skips back to the middle. Approaching the last 20 minutes of this game. Kopjak takes over. Lovely pass for Lockwood. Lockwood has his arms free. Only finds Swinton arms though. And it's Hope, I think, who was charging through to collect the intercept. So the Lions live again. Come down this left-hand side through Mike Butt. Well, I was asking the question pre-match of whether, you know, Swinton could end this run of defeats that they were having against Featherstone. They've certainly shown glimpses, especially this second half. Here's Jones. Charging through again. Only as far as Brad Day low down and James Lockwood up top. Ridyard. Onto Brooks. That defence is so solid from Featherstone, though, isn't it?
I've not seen a championship defence this well drilled in a long time. They're absolutely excellent. Swinton have been asking them questions and they've stood up well, every single man.
They certainly have. Here's Gale. Taking on middle forwards. He'll play 25 out from his own line. Blackmore is there. He'll make further meterage and trying to punch his way through that middle. Referee's shrill cry of held means he's going to have to play it, and he does. Tackle comes in on Ferris. He was quick to hit the deck then. Plays for the penalty. Referee just says, get up, get on with it. Kopjak does just that down the middle. Good run from Kopjak. A couple of defenders left in his wake. Wrestles to his front. Now Lockwood. Out to Brown. Brown dummies it a couple of times, shimmies his way off to the right-hand side, uses strength and then cuts back to the middle. Uses footwork, he's still going. Eventually he's caught by Geronimo Doyle. A couple of other players also involved in the stop. Perata down this right-hand side. Ooh, I thought that was going to be one of those glory passes from Craig Hall then, but ultimately it just finds the touch, Judge.
Yeah, it was good expansive play again from Featherstone. Didn't quite find ball to hand this time.
It's as good as a kick, that one, though, with where they're turning the ball over. Just 10 metres away from their own line here, Swinton. Brogan. A couple of hard-fought metres coming in there. And there's Lapore. Just seems no matter what Swinton tried, there's no way past this defence.
Yeah, it's defensively absolutely outstanding.
And they are trying things. Here comes Geronimo Doyle, bursting into the backfield. Still, they've been able to chase back. Scoreline remains 30 points to 0 in favour of Rovers. Just the one try this second half, going the way of Featherstone. As Tom Spencer rolled over on his back on the halfway line. He'll stand and play it. There's a couple of other players looking a little bit gingerly out there for a Swinton point of view. Thankfully, everyone's back up on their feet. And it comes out left to Ridyard. Ridyard lines it up. Good ball out to Mitch Cox. And a better ball out to Butts. Back in field. That's better from Swinton Lions. And Mitch Cox will score. That was great play. Excellent movement down this left-hand side. Plenty being said on the touchline about this attempted challenge on Butt when he gets rid of the ball. Mitch Cox going through, though, to complete the score. And that's his first try of the season for Mitch Cox as well. On the board for the first time in this game, 30 points to 4. Plenty of concern being shown for Mike Butt down this side.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a committed tackle, but I think he's connected quite high, really. But I don't think the officials have seen it.
And I've got to say, from the view which we had as well, it all happened so quickly, although it happened right in front of us, and the camera angles didn't really show any afters to it. I just thought it was really good play from Mike Butt, actually. You know, he got it right back in field. Had to move so quickly, didn't he?
Excellent play. Just took the collision just after he released the ball. It's
Martin Ridyard with the conversion. Meat and drink to a kicker of his quality. 30 points to 6 now in favour of Featherstone Rovers. Or if I'm doing it the right way around, Swinton Lions 6, Featherstone Rovers 30.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of confidence now. We've got 15 minutes left. Swinton got 15 minutes left to build and build for next week now. Show how they can play and put a platform down for the game against York.
Doesn't get any easier for Swinton, does it, when you look at that fixture list? And York up next, Widnes the week after.
Yeah, we've certainly got a tough start on paper for the start of the season.
Long restart. Played off the shins then of Hansen. I think that is Spencer in the middle. He'll play this to Hansen, who finds Lapore, who plays it across his line to Louis Roberts. And I tell you what, he has impressed me as Roberts, just the way his eagerness to get stuck in both sides of the game. Swinton coming forward with a bit more vim and vigour now. Brogan to play it on his own 40-metre line. Now Brooks, tough metres there, carried 2 forward on his back to the halfway line. Ridyard buzzing around that middle, picking up some support from Spencer again. The two of them with a lengthy connection over at Lee Centurions once upon a time. Brogan out to Ridyard, long ball. Out to Cox, who gets it back. Ridyard. Kick comes in from Mike Butt. Up in the air. Hall's there to collect it inside his own 20. He's now picking where he's going to run. Always one of those players is Craig Hall that looks so classy when he's in possession.
He certainly does. It was a good tackle from Lewis Roberts because there was nothing outside him.
I always think with Craig Hall, it's like having a Rolls Royce in the garage.
He's been a quality player for a number of years.
Very much so. Featherstone Rovers continuing to come forward in this set as Mins plays it on his own 40-metre line. Frankie Holton takes over. He's impressed on his return to Haywood Road. Parata at dummy half. Pops it left for Lockwood. They've gone back to the tried and trusted through the middle. Strong drives. Structured play. Last tackle signalled here. Out on the left with Holmes. Plays it through hands to Ferris. Ferris kicking forward. It's a difficult one for Geronimo Doyle to deal with, but he did well there. Doyle just looked up and saw 4 Featherstone shirts in front of him. He knew he was going to get clattered one way or the other.
He's had a steady performance, Geronimo. He's fielded nearly every kick that's come through. He's done well.
I agree.
Defensively, he's done well.
Yeah, I think he has done really well. Swinton and Mitch Cox in possession. 20 metres away from their own line. Doyle taking over again. Unable to find any gaps in that defence. The few and far between. Hanson fires his kick long. It'll bounce, it'll bobble, and it's played off the shins of Craig Hall, who now picks it up and rolls his way forward. 12 metres gain there up the middle. Start having a think, would you, Damien, regarding your player of the match. So I'll come to you probably in the next 5 minutes, if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Here comes Craig Kopjak. Parata darting out a dummy half. Did the full... it was almost like a comic strip stop then, and then went off in a different direction. Inside the 20-metre line he goes, plays it to Tom Holmes. Holmes plays it across to this right-hand side. Now Brown for Wellham. Wellham's done well with any ball that's come his way. 10 metres out from the try line. Last tackle signalled. They'll carry on rolling forward. Here's Kopjak. Good challenge there. Tom Spencer over the top just ensured there wasn't going to be an offload. And I think Spencer may have come out second best in that challenge, but it was really committed stuff there. We just see Parata lining up the big fella Kopjak to his left. And that was an all or nothing challenge there.
Yeah, it certainly was. And I think that's what Swinton needed in the first half. They defended the line really well in the second half.
Into the last 12 minutes of the game. There's Roberts for Swinton, still inside his own 20-metre mark. Plays it to Waterworth. Now Hanson comes off down this left-hand side and with Ridyard. And Mitch Cox, but he's running out of space there, is Mitch Cox. Has to step back on the infield. Tackle just 5 metres away from the touchline, I should say. As Ridyard releases it into the middle. Spencer shows up. Despite being clattered in his last tackling stint. Now Brooks. Hanson. Geronimo Doyle. Roberts. Great movement from Swinton. Ultimately, though, that defence was just going with them and watching them and waiting to pounce.
Just sliding across.
Last tackle in this set. It's out with Ridyard. Ridyard deciding to play the ball. Is that all on? Yes, it is. Our referee has wiped the tackle count down, so possession continues for Swinton. Spencer it was playing it. This is Mike Butt. Butt rolling forward. You know what? I think I cursed him earlier in the game because I said he likes scoring tries when I'm commentating, and he's not had the opportunity. He's got an assist to his name, though, having said that.
It's time yet.
There is time. There is time. Come on, Mike Butt. The offload comes in. Long ball into the middle. Brooks. Strong carry. Better from Swinton. Inside the 30-metre line they go. Winning this second half 6 points to 4, by the way. Ultimately, it's 30 points to 6 on the scoreboard. Ridyard. Plays it in the middle. Out to the right-hand side. I think that's Spencer all held up there on the last tackle. Last tackle coming up, I should say.
It was a great tackle, that.
Waterworth. Oh, that's knocked down by a Featherstone Rovers hand. Another set of 6 tackles coming up here for Swinton.
I'd say Swinton have kept the composure. They keep building right through this second half, and they have caused Featherstone a few problems.
You could see exactly where he was going to play that ball from Waterworth. So too could Frankie Holton, but he ended up palming the ball down, and this is why we've got another set of 6 tackles coming up. Brogan, again using that footwork again. It's a devilish little step that he's got.
It's a great step.
I like watching Louis Brogan. Certainly one for the future as it's passed out to Brooks. Brooks sees it moving down that right-hand side. Hansen, everyone just overran him and he has to come back left to Ridyard. Drops it back over his shoulder for Will Hope. Will Hope trying to push his way through the middle. Just for a minute, there was a gap there. And all hands to the pump as far as Featherstone are concerned. Out to the right-hand side to Ridyard. Plays it off to Hansen. Hansen's lost it. And he was trying to brush it through his hands very quickly. It was always going to be risky business with players running out of the line at you.
Yeah, very much. Again, Featherstone's structure and defence has been excellent. Forced the error. You just heard Martin Ridyard there. You can hear him talking. He just said, come on, guys, take your time. Don't be pressured.
And that's the thing, isn't it? It's all about building for this next week. For both of these sides, to be honest. I mean, Featherstone have a challenge of their own next week against Whitehaven. So remember, Rovers fans, you'll be able to get logged into rugby-league.com/live stream. Buy the stream for that one before the day of the game. It's £4.95 for you. From a Swinton Lions point of view, well, I'm with you again next week, and York City Knights are here at Haywood Road, and you can do likewise. So rugby-league.com/live stream. Buy it before midnight on Saturday, and it's £4.95 to you. Or what you could do with an exciting lineup of games coming up is buy a full weekend pass. I'll go through those games in a little while, but Featherstone marching forward with a bit of purpose in this set of 6. Oh, as it's juggled there expertly.
Looked a bit forward, that, but missed by the officials.
By Lockwood. Barata works dummy half, puts it right. Brown, lovely delayed pass there for Day, but with the challenge, good tackle it was too. Infield it'll come from Featherstone Rovers onto Bussey. Very impressive opening stint from Bussey. Through hands out to Hall. He's fired that kick down the ground, and is that going to stop? It just stopped just the other side where the line was. I thought initially when he kicked that had no chance of staying in.
Yeah, it just bobbled, didn't it? It did look like he kicked it too hard.
Swinton coming down the ground again. There's a lot they can take from this second half performance. And I guess as well from a Featherstone point of view, this second half has been a different type of second half that they've had to come up with. The first half was all about their attack. The second half has been all about the defence and what Swinton's thrown at them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an excellent performance from Featherstone all the way through. Swinton's second half's been a lot better than the first half. They're asking questions, and we're building for the season and building for next week.
With 5 minutes left, hang on, we'll just stick with this Swinton attack as Spencer pushes his way forward just over the halfway line. Ridyard's moved himself into dummy half now. Finds Brogan. Brogan plays it off to Hansen. Hansen keeps it moving. Good work out to Taylor Brown on that right hand side. And now Brooks. Straightforward drive from him again. Still this tackle count goes on. 30 metres away from the line. Ridyard. Out to Grant. Grant puts boot on ball. It's collected at the back by Craig Hall. And he plays it onto Chris Wellham. Wellham will just take that hit from Butt. Gale rolls forward. Perhaps a good opportunity to come to you with about 4 minutes remaining to go through who you think's impressed you. Who's going to be your player of the game?
Well, I think both sides have had a couple of standout performers. I think Lewis Brogan's been Swinton's outstanding performer today. I think near to the line, he's with his footwork's been excellent. I think for Featherstone, they've had a few players who've stood out. But for me, I think everything's gone through Tom Holmes. And for me, he's the Featherstone man of the match.
So you heard it here first. Your Our League man of the match, as nominated by my co-commentator Damien Ridpath, goes to Featherstone Rovers number 6, Tom Holmes. I agree. I think he's controlled an awful lot out on that left-hand side as the little number 6 for Featherstone Rovers. So here come Swinton Lions. Again, just doing it tough, bringing the kick away from their own line. Hansen out to Ridyard. Ridyard further wide with Roberts. Steps away from a couple. Does really well. Does excellently. Finds some support. There's Brogan onto Spencer. Back in field to Geronimo Doyle, skipping past a couple of defenders. This is better stuff. 3 minutes to go. 30 points to 6 trailing, and Swinton firing upfield. Ridyard back on the inside to Spencer. Spencer just lacked that little bit of support. One more support runner there. It was a clean break. Last tackle, dribbled forward by Ridyard. Cleaned up on the deck there by Bussey. And Bussey just taking his chance to have a breath, just as I was doing, to be honest, as Featherstone bring it through the middle. It's been non-stop, hasn't it, this game?
Yeah, it certainly has, and I think the scoreline's a little bit unfair to Swinton. I think they've asked some real questions of Featherstone. And
hang on, chance here for Featherstone coming down that left-hand side. Almost a commentator's curse again, as Tom Mins it was down that left-hand side, just getting on the edge of his defender. Good work from Featherstone. Craig Hall buzzing around that middle, looking around for support. Here's Holmes, your man of the match, out to Brown. Further wide to Wellham. He's kicked it forward. Well done from Mike Butt. Cuts that one off at the pass and just 2 metres out from his own line. And here's Sam Grant, former Wigan player, making his way, it would be fair to say, in the Swinton lineup. Joined last season. The much shortened season that was, or never was.
Yeah, again, he's another young lad making his way, like a lot of the Swinton players. It's a great place to come, Swinton, if you're a young, aspiring British young player.
Lapore, 10 metres from his own line, plays it. Some good work being done here from the Lions. Plenty to build on. Lovely step coming in from Hansen. But again, from a Featherstone point of view, really good defence. Even when they look broken, somehow they chase back and make the tackle as the error comes in from Ridyard. He's tried everything this afternoon, especially this second half, to get Swinton firing.
He certainly has, and you can hear him talking to all the players. His experience is excellent, and he's talking to all the players throughout the game, keeping Swinton steady.
Now, I know that our clock is probably going to reach 80 minutes in the next 40 seconds. I'm looking at the official clock, which still has a minute added on to that. So we're still a minute and a half from full time here. Swinton have conceded possession. Featherstone coming forward as Bussey plays it out to this right-hand side. There's Brad Day. Again, just between defenders. And they shut the door in front of him. 15 metres away from the line. Parata picks up Lockwood. Challenged Louis Brogan to tackle him, and Brogan drops down to complete the stop with the help of 2 other teammates. Parata down the left. Bussey. Good hands from the Featherstone side, and they'll go in. That's great work down that left-hand side, and once again it's Blackmore. Well, it was a disguised pass, off almost a floated pass over the top from Holmes. He's put a real display on this afternoon. Just look at this for a pass from Holmes. Leaps it over the top.
Yeah, it's an excellent, well-worked try.
Blackmore with his second of the game, coming in the last couple of minutes. The 6th try in total from Featherstone's point of view. 7th, I should say. I had to chuck another finger in there to count.
Yeah, I mean, this shows the capability of this Featherstone team. They've scored more tries than Warrington did last week, and they've played really, really well today. Very good performance from Featherstone Rovers.
So the seconds ticking away. I'm not sure whether we'll get a chance to get back underway after this conversion attempt from Famunu Brown. Famunu Brown steps in, strikes it well. Is it well enough? It is, you know. The flags are raised. 36 points to 6. And that is all she wrote for the game. So Famunu Brown, the man in your screen, kicking 4 out of 7 goals this afternoon. We've seen 2 tries from Ben Blackmore, 1 each from Tom Mins, Gareth Gale, Tom Holmes, Brad Day and John Davis. Swinton fighting back well in the second half. A try from Mitch Cox and a conversion from Martin Ridyard. But 36 points to 6. Damien, your final thoughts?
Yeah, I think Rovers are going to be a very, very good side and will be there or thereabouts towards the end of this championship season. Some real quality and experience right across the 17 players that represented them today. I think for Swinton, we're a club that's building. I think the second half was a lot better than the first half, but a lot of work to do to develop. But it's a young team, and they'll learn. They'll learn from that, and they'll come good.
I think certainly a chastening experience in the first half. Second half, an awful lot better. Featherstone really being made to work hard for the second half points in particular. And like you said in the first half, there was 2 periods where they scored 2 tries each in 2 minutes, kind of thing, which really stretched the scoreboard out further. But a deserved victory for Featherstone in the end, because they have been dominant, but there's a lot to build on here for Swinton.
Absolutely. I mean, Featherstone's performance was excellent. There is a lot to build on with for Swinton. I mean, we've got a few players out today like Nick Gregson, and we've got Jose Kenga and Lewis Saturn. They're both out for the year, and the good forwards that we've not got access to at the moment. However, the boys who can do a job who were on that field today, unfortunately, we met a side top in form, and we're better than us today.
And there comes a time where sometimes you do have to raise your hand and just say, yeah, they were the better side. Yeah. But as you say, there's always those positives that you can take from it. From a Rovers point of view, particularly first half, they were clinical beyond the extreme. Second half, they didn't get that many chances. But even so, 36-6, they'll be happy with their afternoon's work.
I'm certain they will. I mean, from a Swinton point of view, the 2 tries that Rovers scored in the second half were very, very high quality tries that they were made to work for. They weren't givens. There was a couple of tries in the first half where a bounce of a ball or our line speed wasn't quite where it needed to be, which they took full advantage of. So they were made to work for those second half scores. And I think as a coach, that's all Stuart can ask for. As the Swinton team never give up, and it was shown through the whole 80 minutes. The Swinton lads will never, ever, ever give up. And they showed that today. They're fit, they keep going. And they'll always have a go.
Shall we have some replays? So this, again, some of the examples here of some of the different types of play that second half Swinton were really throwing at Featherstone. And then this was the try. Lovely kick over the top from Holmes. Blackmore chasing through. Does that each time. Never gives up on a chase.
Yeah, it was an excellent kick.
And then this from Swinton. Bit of good play from Martin Ridyard. Came out to this left-hand side. There was a little bit said afterwards of that particular challenge on Butt, but he did well to shuffle the ball back inside for Mitch Cox to support and go towards the post. Ridyard converted. And then we saw this one. Again, Holmes had his fingers all over it. Comes down this right-hand side. Welland putting the kick in. And on that occasion, well met by Mike Butt. And here's the final try of the game. Out on this left-hand side. Holmes again. That's a real floater of a pass. What a pass.
I mean, Richard Lepore is very good at coming in and taking the man out. And Holmes read the situation and just put a long pass over the top to the winger.
I think there was a bit of deception there. I think he's probably done him with the eyes as well as the pass.
I think you're probably right. I think his body shape looked like he was throwing a short pass and it went to a long pass. It's quality.
Like you said, it sort of just crowned that, if you like, man of the match performance for him, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. He was a standout today. He played really, really well.
So it's been a delight having you alongside me, Damien. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, I have. I've not enjoyed the result, but I've enjoyed the day.
It's always a difficult one, having to talk about your team when it's not doing particularly well. So I think you've done admirably there. So thank you so much for your company. I've really appreciated it.
Thanks very much. I've enjoyed it.
I've also got to thank all the team on site here as well, who've done a magnificent job in setting things up. And we roll on. So next week, I'm also here once again, where Swinton Lions will be taking on the York City Knights. Featherstone, meanwhile, they've got a home tie against Whitehaven. As I mentioned before, you can already sign up for those. www.rugbyleague.com/livestream. It's £4.95 for you if you sign up early doors. On the day of the game, that goes up to £10. Some really interesting fixtures coming up next week as well. On Saturday, it's London Broncos taking on Oldham. And Batley Bulldogs at home to Widnes Vikings. Doesn't get any easier for the Vikings. Heavy woolen double in the couple of weeks there. And then Sunday you will also see, well, you've got me, once again, Swinton fans here for Swinton and York City Knights. Featherstone against Whitehaven, like we mentioned. Halifax against Toulouse, which potentially is a great tie. Newcastle Thunder up against Sheffield Eagles, which I don't know. I mean, I saw Sheffield play against Bradford on the first day of the season. They were tremendous. I think they're a bit of a dark horse. But Newcastle as well, showing enough to me in the cup tie down here that they're not to be taken lightly either.
Yeah, I mean, they come back with a 30-all draw at against Widnes after being, I think they were 30-16 behind, and yeah, they're a good side, Thunder. They showed it when they played here, and Sheffield, I think, surprised everybody with the amount that they scored against Bradford Bulls. It was a big win. Speaking of Bradford Bulls, it's who will dominate the Tetley Stadium that weekend. The two of them sharing that ground over at Dewsbury for this season. Bradford going into the home dressing room next week, and they'll face off against the Dewsbury Rams. So plenty to come here on our league. Get yourself signed up for as many of those games as possible. Remember, you can sign up for a weekend pass. £20 will mean that you can watch all of those games. And I tell you what, there's some mouth-watering ties coming up next week.